Well, right there was a prime example of buck sparring right there. And we try to mimic that using, antlers or rattling bags, depending on what you have. If you don't have a set of racks yourself, they do have plastic ones out available for you in the stores, or they have the rattling bag, which is a popular thing nowadays for bow hunters, which is smaller and convenient than having to lug around these big things. But, I'm going to show you how to use the actual racks. These are what I use. These were given to me from my father. So, most generally people, when they use them, they would cut off the brow ties, the points at the ends here. I hold some sentimental value to these racks, so I don't do that. So normally what they use them is they'll clash them together in the front. But since I have these brow ties here, I don't want to pinch my fingers. So I flipped one of these ends over, so I'm hitting it this way, and my fingers are free. And also, when you use them this way, you get a lot of beam action. You hit these main beams here, which cause a lot of volume and sound when you're, to get those bucks from further away. So when you smack these, you get a lot more heavy sound out of them than when you're going through here, because you're hitting these tines first. You're hitting all the tines first. It really takes away the big thundering crash that you would get when you're using this one to get those bucks that are further away. Now, when you first come in, just like when you're using your grunt call, in the previous section, don't, as soon as you get in there, don't, start off and start wailing on these things. Just go ahead and wait 15-20 minutes, and, when that time has elapsed, then it's okay to go ahead and start using these. But don't just start banging them. One thing I would suggest is, when you got in, maybe there's a buck maybe 50, 75 yards away from you that you don't know is there, and he doesn't know you're there. So if you just come in and start wailing on these things, you might just spook your deer. He'll just like, what's going on, and take off, and you won't even get him. So what I would suggest you do is, for the first couple of rattles, do nothing but what they call tickle the tines. In other words, just go and just tickle, just lightly touch the tines themselves. Just make a little action, like there's, they're just playing around. The bucks are really getting into a big fight. They're just playing around a little bit. So just, play around with them just a little bit. You don't do it a whole lot, maybe 2 or 3 minutes at the least. Once you get proficient enough and in the woods with it, you can also, do combinations and everything, and have your grunt call handy with you, and be able to, do some grunt calls in between your rattle or after your rattle. I normally wait until after the rattle. That way, the buck noise is actually, clearer than when you're rattling, because it's hard to, hear the grunt call during the middle of the rattling. I'll do a segment of both, that way you can hear what both of them sound like. See, and also a good thing to do is, while waiting after the rattle, you can do that, causing a little bit of emotion in your grunt call, like we talked about in the grunting session. So, I would wait until after your rattling session to work your grunt call, but that's your choice. Okay, the definite time's not the when you use the rattle, is when the deer's coming in close, just like when you're using the grunt call. You get a deer that's coming in real close to you, you hit these, just like I said before, the hearing on the deer is exceptional. There's nothing like it around. And he'll spot you in an earshot, and there goes your hunting day. So, don't use them when the deer's getting close. These are mostly used for when a deer is at a great distance to bring them close, and when the closer they get, then you move to your grunt call. But, sometimes the deer doesn't answer to the grunt call. Let's say he's moving out about 75 yards. You hit the grunt call, he's not answering. You go ahead and grab your racks and just go a little bit. He'll turn and look at you, then put a couple hits on your grunt call and see if he might come into you.
the Rattling bag, great. I like it because I can just put it in my backpack. I don't have to worry about it making noise, or it's small. Now, you're in October, you're during a rut. You want to do a little more than what I was doing with the horns. You want to kind of like make a snappy type noise with that. Do it for a few times, a couple times like this. Just pause in between each time you do it a little bit, and do it again. There's not no really sync with when they're fighting, but stop a little bit and look around. You don't want to just continue to hit these horns and have a buck come in on you and not even know he's coming in. You want to hit him in short burst and stop and look and check your area out, because you keep rattling and next thing you know there's a big buck right underneath your tree stand, and you got horns, you got these in your hands, and you don't have your bow. Well, you might as well wave by at him. So that's it.
Seymour Bucks is a powerful concentrated deer attractant. It intensifies their urge to eat. So spray it, pour it, mix it, or dump it, and deer will appear licking their chops ready to eat.
Seymour Bucks comes in a liquid and powder form, and it's easy to use. Mix the Seymour Bucks powder with corn or grain for ground feeding. Simply mix with wet or dry corn and pour into piles. The Seymour Bucks will keep attracting deer even after the feed is gone. You can also use the powder on stumps to attract and hold deer to an area. Seymour Bucks liquid can also be used with corn. Let the grain soak for 24 hours, then pour onto the ground or use in feeders. The liquid form of Seymour Bucks works great in a sprayer. Soak vines, bushes, and native plants to increase forage browsing, or spray food plots to rapidly increase feeding activity. Seymour Bucks, sprinkle it, pour it, mix it, spray it, deer just come in.
If you're interested in purchasing any of our videos, please visit www.geocities.com/Northern View Outdoors. Plus, look for Northern View Outdoors on MySpace with the official Northern View Outdoor MySpace page. Thanks for watching.